personally, I find that to be a very, very cool concept. I love it when games really play with the dream world, because I think that they're in a unique position among all forms of media, you know, to really experiment with that. Poor little Jiggy doggies. You know, when we talk about movies and dreams, it's almost impossible not to talk about Inception, right? But there's a lot of people that complain that, you know, Inception actually kind of made too much sense for dealing with the dream world, you know? I mean, dreams are supposed to be strange and bizarre and off-putting, and Inception followed a pretty reasonable plot line, you know? Great movie, I love it, but that's just one of the criticisms that was lodged against it. There you go. Oh, he still got me. I think, you know, there's certainly literary examples of playing with dreams, like, you know, for example, House of Leaves. Oh no, that guy got me! House of Leaves is a famous example of something that's kind of very meta exploration of dreamlike themes, you know? Stephen King's work as well, obviously. But, again, I feel like video games are in a unique position to explore that, because you're creating a world that doesn't necessarily have to abide by logic, you know? Or rather, it abides by the logic that you determine it abides by, you know? And I'll explain more after I free this dragon.
You know, I think you just might be the dragon to defeat Gnasty Gnorc.
That's me, all right.
Yeah, I got tons of attitude to prove it. Okay, but yeah, with regards to dreams, and why video games are a unique medium to explore dreams as a narrative function, you can really prescribe any kind of logic to govern the game world. And it's interesting, there's a game that I'm considering doing a playthrough here on UnderPlayed for the PlayStation. It's called LSD. You know, LSD, it's funny. And it was actually meant to be a dream emulator. You know, it was kind of a procedurally generated game. Back before procedural generation was really a common, you know, household word or phrase. And the idea was, you know, fly down here and explore this little atrium here. The idea was that you would start a game and it would randomly take you through a series of events and places and characters, emulating a dream, you know? And take a nice little dip here. Let's see. It's interesting that we have like a whirlpool of water down there. It's kind of like a cavern of dreams, as it were. We have the hole in the roof there that we can fly out of. Alright. So there is certainly going to be some way to explore more that we haven't seen yet. Like, you can see there's a whirlwind over there. I'm not sure how to get to it just yet. Oh, I think I might see something. Is that a hole in the wall down here? There was a hole in the wall down there. I just gotta figure out how to get to it. Aha! Very sneaky, hiding a little cavern down here. So yeah, I'm surprised that more games haven't tried to play with that, you know? A lot of what we see in games is this chasing of reality, you know? Let's see how photorealistic we can make a game, how you know, realistic a world we can create. And I think that's certainly a valid design direction to pursue. But it strikes me as odd that when you have a medium that's so suited to really exploring the boundaries of unreality, you know, of playing with the concept of reality, why we don't see more developers, you know, pursuing that direction. That was something that I really enjoyed about Dreamfall, actually. Dreamfall, as the name implies, the plot itself has to do with dreams and dreaming, and I just love that. That was fun. But in addition to that, there are a couple of very delightfully meta moments that I had while I was playing that game. Because I was playing this virtual reality about a woman exploring a false reality, you know? Like, it was this kind of, you know, dream within a dream concept. And it was played with very lightly. I don't think they overdid it, but they kind of just hinted at it. It might have not even been intentional by the developers. It might have been just something I was reading into it. But I think it was very, very interesting that they explored that route. Oh, nope, nope, nope. Okay, so this takes me back up here. This is not where I want to be just yet. First, I want to explore that other island. Now, there have been plenty of games that have done a great job of kind of exploring this subjective reality, either through their artistic direction, like in American McGee's Alice series. Even though the world is relatively consistent and it has its own little logic that it follows, it explores these kind of bizarre, impossible worlds, which I loved about it. But there are also games that start to play with those rules that I'm talking about, the rules of physics, as it were. Obviously you could say something like Portal, make an argument for that. But in addition to that, ooh, you got me. Get him. Little fire-breathing turtles. Got him. Another game that I started to play through fairly recently, 297, missing 3 gems, interesting, called Antichamber, right? And it deals with all these M.C. Escher-like physics puzzles. And it's just delightful to go and kind of get these mind screws, and explore them. Ah, turtle got me. Fortunately, there's plenty of mushrooms being flamed. And again, talking about those Alice in Wonderland kind of inspirations, we have mushrooms here as our fodder creature for this world. Living, bouncing mushrooms. Oh, get out of the way. I think maybe perhaps one of the reasons we don't see dreams explored more in media, at least in video games, is because they can be such a subjective kind of thing. And it's hard, when you start playing with consistencies of the game world and what laws of physics you can and can't violate. There's a cavern over there I need to get to somehow. Interesting. It's very hard to keep your game from devolving into what's called an art game. And personally, I take a little, not offense, but I just kind of bristle a little bit at the term art game for a couple of reasons.
Thanks, Spyro. I'd love to help you catch Gnasty, but I'd really hate being trapped in Crystal again.
Don't worry. The only one who's gonna be trapped is him.
It's very interesting that Spyro's the only one that can get trapped in Crystal. I think it's implied because he's like the littlest dragon, and the spell just like missed him, But yeah, when we start talking about art games, I feel like it's it invariably becomes this pretentious conversation about, oh, well, what is art? And it's kind of ridiculous. I think the fact that games have not been recognized by academia as artistic media is just absolutely ludicrous. It's certainly on its way out. The notion that we're seeing people thankfully starting to let go of. But the idea that some games are art, some games are not, and specifically art game is usually, it's almost a derogatory term. It's saying, oh, well, there's actually no point to this game. There's no enjoyment of it other than just the core experience. Which, if you think about it, that describes any video game. If the whole point of a video game is just to experience it and derive pleasure from that, or derive, not necessarily pleasure, but an intense emotional reaction to that, that describes Call of Duty multiplayer, Go here and take out these little dogs. Oh no! Oh no! Oh! Little Chuggy doggy charged me off the edge. You got me. Good job, buddy. Again, we're in this crazy cavern. Look at all the different colors that we have. We have these greens, these yellows, these crazy wonky towers, that are leaned in these strange directions. You can look and you see those flames that are burning pink and blue. And things are just so off here, and it's delightful. I love it. Down through here, fortunately, there's plenty of health pickups in this level, or rather fodder that I can use for health. There's a... Oh, there we go.
thank you for releasing me.
No problem, big guy. But the term art game is something that the industry is going to deal with for a while at least. And like I said, it's kind of a kiss of death for the sake of development, you know. It tends to delineate, you know, a game that's a little bit more abstract, a little bit harder to get into, especially coming from, you know, just a layperson's perspective. You know, if I just want to get home after a day of work, put in a game and relax, you know, level up a couple times in Call of Duty or whatever, it can be a little bit intimidating to say, oh, here, play this game where you know, you explore the boundaries of reality and challenge your concepts of what it means to be human or what it means to dream, you know. It can be a little intimidating, you know. So I think that's partly why we see games on the whole, at least in AAA game development, trying to mimic some sense of the real world and something familiar, something that people can feel comfortable with, you know. There goes the rocket going all over the place. Alright. So that should be the last couple of gems we need over here, right? So what's that, like 25 gems? 35 gems? Let's see. There we go. 500 out of 500. Woohoo! Now, something that's very interesting about Spyro is it's actually a very UI, it has a very sparse UI, okay? And again, this is something that we've become accustomed to. This has been a trend that's been picking up in game development, is having a very minimalist UI, keeping the screen clear, letting you see the world that you're experiencing. But this was a relatively new concept, once again, back in the time that this game came out. In a standard, you know, at any given point in the time, there's absolutely no UI elements on the screen whatsoever. I don't have a health bar. I have this little dragonfly flying around beside me. It lets me know how many hits I can take, right? I don't have a counter of gems. My gem counter only updates when I actually get a new gem, etc. Let's see. What else do we have? There's also Lofty Castle. I want to do Lofty Castle next. That's a fun level. Let's go do that. You can just bypass these folks. I think Lofty Castle's over here, isn't it? Or is it? Nope. Wait a second. Where is it? Silly me. I can't remember where anything is. Maybe it's over here. How it may jump. Yeah, here we go. Lofty Castle. This is a fun level. And again, we start to see more of these really unreal skyboxes, you know. Things seem really topsy-turvy here. As you can see, as we are flying in, we have these radiant pinks and purples that are beautiful. Also in the sky, if you look,